Hey guys, JLB Zombie here, and welcome back to my all-time favourite horror movies. This is part number 3. I've realised that there has to be more parts to this video, because as I was writing down my list just now, there's a bunch to get through. I mean, there's a bunch. I've numbered them, labelled them, whatever, and I've also got some honourable mentions on here. So, let's start with the honourable mentions. Okay, these are in any order, like before, just on the top of my mind. So, honourable mention number 1 goes to Psycho 2. Yeah, this film was really good, but obviously it's not as good as the first one, and there was something about it that it was good, but it wasn't good enough to make the list. I don't know why. I did enjoy the film, but it just wasn't good enough to make the list. I know that sounds really weird, but I mean, that's weird, but I think Anthony Perkins did a great job. Psycho 3 was terrible. I think Psycho 3 was bad. But I'm going to have to go back and rewatch that one. Psycho 4, meh, it was okay. I mean, I like the fact that at the end he burned down the motel and, well, the house anyway. And like throughout the film he's on the phone telling about his past and stuff like that, so yes, but at the majority, in my opinion, it goes 1, 2, 4, 3. There we go. So, yeah, that's Psycho 2. Let's move on to honourable mention number 2. Now, there's nothing wrong with this next film from 2004. Absolutely nothing wrong with it at all. It's one of my favourite horror films. Favourite films of all time, sorry. But the reason why it's in honourable mention is because, is it a horror film? Really? And that's Shaun of the Dead. I can't decide whether it's a horror film or not. I mean, at the beginning it's very comedic, but then at the end it gets very serious when everyone around Shaun breaks down and basically dies, pretty much. So, is it a horror film or is it a comedy film? It's a bit of both. It's like Evil Dead 2. It's a dark comedy. Whereas Shaun of the Dead near the end gets very dark. Honestly, I couldn't put it on the list because I chose between the two. Is it horror? Is it comedy? I don't know. But it definitely has to be mentioned. If you like zombie films and you haven't seen Shaun of the Dead, what's wrong with you? But go check out Shaun of the Dead. It's a masterpiece. Okay, moving on to honourable mention number 3. Alright then, so we've got 2 zombie films in this honourable mention. That goes to Dead Snow from 2004. No, 2009, sorry. And Dead Snow 2, Red vs. Dead from 2014. Dead's like Shaun of the Dead. They're comedies. They're very dark comedies. And I mean, it's like Bad Taste. Not Bad Taste, sorry. Dead Alive. It's like Dead Alive or Brain Dead. They're dark comedies. And me in particular, I love horror, but I don't like the film Brain Dead. It's over the top stupid nonsense. I don't like Brain Dead. However, it's a dark comedy. Really, it's a dark horror comedy. It's like the film Black Sheep, dark comedy. These two, however, exactly the same. However, they are very gory, and obviously zombies being horror, yeah, you get the picture. So, yeah, okay, so there's 2 more to go. Okay, again, 2 films. 28 Days Later from 2002 and 28 Weeks Later from 2007. I think these films are great. Just great. However, not good enough to make the list. They're not films that I go back and revisit constantly. However, the ones on this side, I probably go back and revisit every year or something. They're good films, don't get me wrong. I mean, like, because it's an honourable mention, they're always worth mentioning, obviously, but don't because I haven't got them on the list, don't miss them out. I mean, they are great. shaky cam films, as I like to call them. I think Danny Boyle did a great job with them. So, well, the first one anyway. So, yeah, definitely check that out. So, moving on to the last honourable mention. People are going to kill me for this, but it's The Thing from 1982, the remake. Not The Thing from Another World, but The Thing from John Carpenter. Yeah. Why is it not on the list? I don't know, because I don't watch it enough, that's why. I have seen it, but I just don't watch it enough. But the reason why I'm putting it on the list is because it does definitely not deserve to be left out of the horror sci-fi genre. Okay, so that's it for the honourable mentions. Time to move on to the list. Okay, so to kick off the list, we're going to start with a classic from 1978, and it happens to be on my t-shirt. That's right, Halloween from 1978. This film is iconic in many ways, and I still say that even John Carpenter, in fact, he admitted that he didn't think this film would become worldwide. You know, this film's just a masterpiece in so many ways. The look of Michael Myers, what can I say? It was based on a William Shatner mask, and it's just fantastic. I'm not going to say any more about it other than Jamie Lee Curtis is a fantastic scream queen. That's all I'm going to say. So, if you haven't seen Halloween, get your ass up, go watch the classic. It's amazing. Moving on. Okay, most of these are sequel based, so let's go to 1981 with Halloween 2. Halloween 2 is probably my favourite out of the series, because it picks up straight after the first one, like literally like 5-10 minutes after. And I think the atmosphere in this one is terrifying. Terrifying. Because, you know, Laura's in a hospital, she's unaware of the environment, she doesn't know where anything is around the hospital. Michael Myers could be around any corner, wherever, you know. So I think Halloween 2 works. And I love the poster for Halloween 2. I mean, you can see it right there. But I just love it. I mean, it's fantastic. So, Halloween 2, masterpiece again. Let's move on to the next Halloween movie. Okay, I believe this was the first one I ever saw. From 1998, we've got Halloween H2O, 20 years later. This is definitely up there for sure because I think it was the first one I ever saw, and plus Jamie Lee Curtis came back and she actually wanted to do this film because it was her anniversary of her acting career, and she decided why not go back to Halloween where it all began with her career. Unfortunately, John Carpenter wasn't available, so don't know what was done. I'm not so sure who directed this one. However, I do have a complaint. Michael Myers' eyes are shown way too often in this film. I mean, you can see right here. They're just it kills me. But I do love the scene. It's quite terrifying actually. The scene where he's walking down the hallway and you've got that not eerie music, but upbeat thriller type music. Dun 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 dun, sort of like that. And it's just when Laurie's sort of bashed him over the head with a fire extinguisher, and then she gets her son and his girlfriend gets out of the room, and then he just chases them down the hallway. I always love that scene because it's like the camera's point of view, like the camera's on the floor sort of, so he's looking up at Michael as he's walking. I always love that for some reason. The ending, yeah, we thought that Michael Myers was dead, but oh no. So let's move on to the next Halloween film. Yeah, I'm not so sure if people are going to kill me for this one, but it's Halloween Resurrection. I guess it's just a guilty pleasure, excuse me. Yeah, I guess it's just a guilty pleasure. I like it. But I like the idea of a found footage film featuring Michael Myers. Yeah, I just like it. So, there we go, Halloween Resurrection. The only thing I don't like about it is Busta Rhymes kicking his ass. Karate style. But yeah, I don't like that one. But I don't like that aspect of the film. But the film itself was okay. It was good. It was good. It was fun. So, let's move on to the final Halloween film. I've put this one down in the past, I've brought it back up, I've brought it back down, and it's Rob Zombie's Halloween. I'm finally bringing it back up because it's a good remake. It is a good remake. It's, in fact, next to Friday the 13th, Texas Chainsaw Massacre. No, in fact, it's, out of those three, it's probably my second favourite. I mean, Michael Myers in this one is aggressive. But I think he's too tall. I just think he's too tall. But he is aggressive, so that makes him more scary, I guess. But if I'm gonna watch any Halloween film, I always go to number 2. But this one, don't miss it out. I mean, it's good. It's got the gore, it's got the blood. Even though the original didn't have that, it relied more on the atmosphere. However, this one takes it in a new direction, and I think it's good for younger audiences. Like, well, not younger audiences. That sounds terrible, but audiences who like gore and violence. Whereas if you like suspenseful thriller, watch the original. If you get what I mean. So yeah, that's it for the Halloween films. So let's move on to Nightmare on Elm Street. Now, I've only got 2 films from the Nightmare on Elm Street series, and we'll talk about the first one first. So, 1984, A Nightmare on Elm Street. Yeah, this film's very original. I mean, for the time, it was very original. Robert Englund did an absolute fantastic job as Freddy Krueger. I mean, terrified audiences for years. Heather Langenkamp, brilliant as Nancy. John Saxon, brilliant. Who else we've got? Johnny Depp. I think this was his film debut. He got so many good scenes in this film. I mean, I'll admit I'm not the biggest Freddy Krueger fan. In fact, he's my least fan. In fact, Jason and Freddy Krueger are not my favourite horror icons. I tend to draw away from those. But it's nice to watch them every now and again. But there's only 2 films in the Nightmare series that I actually like and enjoy. So the original, absolute classic. There's nothing more I can say to it. It's a classic. Favourite scene? Got to be Tina's death. It has to be. It has to be. It's iconic. Pretty much all the scenes with Tina I liked, where Freddy gets his face ripped off and then it reveals the skull, where he chops his fingers off, and then leading up to Tina's death. Yeah, love that bit. Love that bit. I like the ending too. So, yeah, Nightmare on Elm Street, classic. However, let's go to... I've lost the year. Let's go to 1994 and talk about my favourite Nightmare film, which is Wes Craven's New Nightmare. I don't know what it is about this film, I just think it's brilliant. The fact that Freddy Krueger is trying to get into the real world, and then Heather Langenkamp has to come back again and play Nancy once more to actually defeat Freddy. The only thing that confuses me is that it's a movie within a movie, and I fucking hate it when they do that, because it's like, which bit am I watching? Which bit am I meant to be understanding? It's like Seed of Chucky. That's not on the list, by the way, if you was wondering, because that's a comedy. I was tempted to put Bride on there, Bride of Chucky, but it's a dark comedy, like Dead Snow, Shaun of the Dead, and blah blah blah. But yeah, movie within a movies, I hate. I just hate them. I can't stand them. But this one I like, and the little kid who plays Heather Langenkamp's son in this one, who's in Pet Sematary, is a good actor. He's a good actor. He's weird, creepy, but he's a good actor. Especially the scene where he sellotapes the knives to his fingers, and he's going 1, 2, Freddy's coming for you, and he's just. But the thing that pisses me off about this film, other than the movie within a movie, it's that it has so many earthquakes. The film features so many earthquakes, and I'm like, what the fuck is this? You know, and the kid sometimes screams for random reasons, and it's just, and the look of Freddy is my favourite. I mean, here he is right now. That's my favourite look of Freddy Krueger, probably of all time. Not necessarily the hand or the glove, sorry, but well, no, it is a hand. It's a bone hand on this one, but I just love the look. How like his burns are in different places. I don't know, but yeah, and I love the trench coat and the boots. Love that. Nosferatu. That's what I always think of. But let's move on to the Friday the 13th movies. Like I said, I'm not a big fan of Jason, but definitely some to be mentioned here. So let's go to 1982 with part number 3. Yeah, part 3 was great. I mean, of course I've got to add this because it's where Jason donned the iconic hockey mask. Part number 3, great, loved it. Especially like the spear gun. I think it's a spear gun or a harpoon gun. I think it's a harpoon gun through the eye, and then she falls in the water. Part number 3. Well, I'm talking about part number 3, where he's in the hay. Is it hay shack? Yeah, or the barn. Sorry, where he's in the barn, and that dude goes to swipe for him, but Jason's like, nah, fuck off. I'm just gonna cut your hand off. He's just there looking at his hand, and it's all bloody and stumpy. Love that scene. And of course, it was shot in 3D. And the scene where Jason's got the axe in his head and he's doing all this, and you know, so yeah, it's cheesy, but it's fun. It's fun. So let's go to 1988. Kane Hodder's first appearance as Jason, and that's Friday the 13th, Part 7, New Blood, or as I like to call it, Jason versus Carrie, or Jason versus Matilda, because that's what it is. It's basically Jason going up against someone with telekinesis. Yeah, but it was fun. It was fun, and Jason looked badass in this one. The scene where his mask starts to melt and then it eventually cracks open. You can definitely see the shit that he's gone through. I mean, he's got his exposed teeth on the side. He's got no fucking eye, because it's probably about that wide, you know, and then he's just fucking angry, and then he's got the normal side of his face. Well, mind you, Jason was never normal in the first place, but yeah, I do sort of like Part 7. If I had to choose between 3 or 7, kills, I'd definitely go for 7, because the kills get better as they go along in the films. But probably I'd be going towards 3, because I like... It was Jason's first most iconic appearance. I mean, of course, in number 2 he had the sack on his head, but that's a completely different story. So, mind you, I do like the ending to part 1, 2 and 3, how they sort of all connect. Like part 1, he came out the water and dragged her underneath. Part number 2, Jason came through the window, and then part 3, where Jason's mom dragged the girl from the boat. So they're all connected somehow. They're all, like, the characters all launching at people, but there we go. So yeah, part number 7, really good. I enjoyed it. Let's move on to the remake. Probably it is my all-time favourite Friday the 13th film. It is a remake, but Derek Mears, I think it's Mears, Derek Mears, like the remake version of Michael Myers. I've never seen Jason so aggressive. I mean, he fucking runs. Jason runs in this one. So, like, I'd be shitting my pants halfway through. I'd be like, hey, there's Jason. Oh, yeah, he's just going to walk over here. Fucking hell, he's running. So, you know, I'd be shit scared. And I like the fact that all the teenagers are basically stuck in this one house and they can't get along with each other. And Jason just fucking takes them out one by one. One by one. He throws that one... I can't remember. His name's Trey? I think the guy's name's Trey. He throws him onto a truck. Then the truck takes off. He stabs that one cop with that metal rod right through the eye, and then pins him to the door. The iconic beanbag. Fucking beanbag! I'm tired, guys. I'm so sorry. Sleeping bag kill. You got the iconic sleeping bag kill. What else we got? Yeah, I mean the opening of the remake was violent, quite raunchy too, but it was really really violent, and that's what I like to see from a Jason film. Anyway, I'm hoping they'll make a part two remake. I'm hoping, but I really do like the remake because I've said this before in my review. I reviewed it ages ago. The remake is part two where he has the sack over his head. Well, actually, no, it's all of them. It's part one where Jason's mother gets killed. Part two where he's got the sack over his head, and then it develops into part three where Jason finds the mask and puts it on. So it's all of those combined, and I love it. I love the remake so much. It's one of my favourites. So let's now move on to the Texas Chainsaw Massacre films. Okay, going to 1974 with the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, starring Gunnar Hansen, the best guy to ever portray Leatherface. May he rest in peace. The Texas Chainsaw Massacre, directed by Tobe Hooper, was one of a kind. You'd never seen anything like that. The exact moment when you see Leatherface, you're like, what the fuck am I watching? The bit where he slams Kirk over the head with the mallet. The bit where he puts, I forgot her name, but the bit where he puts the girl on the meat hook. Jesus Christ! It was for 1974. I actually think it was considered a video nasty, but it was amazing, and it still is. It's just a classic. It is an absolute fucking classic. The only thing I'd take out of it would be Franklin. I hate that character. Franklin. I hate him. I fucking hate Franklin. I think everyone did, but there we go. So let's move on to the next Texas Chainsaw film, and I swear to God, people are going to hate me for this again, but oh well. We're going to go to the year of 1990 with Leatherface, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3. I don't know what it is about this film. I fucking love it. I don't know what it is. I think it might be the look of Leatherface, the guy who played Leatherface, R.A. Maloff, I think his name was. I don't know what it was about this film. This film, it's basically a remake of the first one, but not. Stars Ken Foree, so what the fuck do I know? Yeah. This I love the poster. Absolutely love the poster to this film. You can see it right there. I just think it's great. The poster to this film is great because it's very eerie, and I remember going into a video shop and seeing that. Not the poster, but the VHS tape. I was like, what film's this? What film's this? So yeah, Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3. Don't miss it out. It's not as bad as everyone says it is. Although there is a uncut version and a cut version, and there is not much difference. I mean, in the cut version, there's just, I don't know. In the uncut version, there's an ear being shot off and some fingers being shot off. In the cut version, you don't get that. So I don't know why, because it's nothing too gruesome. I mean, in part 2, Leatherface got impaled with a chainsaw. I mean, there was that guy, Nubbins, like chainsawing people's heads. Well, that was Leatherface, but on the car, so what the fuck? But that was back when the rating system was like getting into hand, so well. Let's move on to the next Chainsaw film. Okay, I'm not going to bother doing a jump cut for these films because I'm just going to put them in one. So that's Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2003 and 2006, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre The Beginning. These films are fucking awesome. I'm just going to say that now. They're awesome. They're bloody, they're violent, they're really, really, what's the word I'm looking for? Grimy, dull, bitter. There's fucking, I mean, the beginning does obviously show Leatherface putting on a face, and it shows it. It doesn't show it in graphic detail, but I mean, you do see him. It's sort of blurred, but you do see him pull the face off the victim's body, but it isn't like, you can't fully see it. You can only see like his hands tearing away from the face and everything. So, and then you actually do get to see what's left. But before that, Leatherface took the skin off his arms, the bottom piece of his arms, and then finally impaling him through the chest with his chainsaw. That scene was quite emotional because his girlfriend, the victim's girlfriend, was right under the table, and there was a storyline going between those two where she was pregnant. So, and of course, he never got to become a father. So, yeah, it's that bit for me was quite sad because like you just think of that. But moving on to the remake, it's awesome. It's fucking awesome. I'm trying to think of the guy who played Leatherface. Andrew Branansky, yeah, he's aggressive. But I still think Gunnar Hansen is the best Leatherface. And before I end talking about the Texas Chainsaw movies, well, the two recent ones anyway, I've got to mention R. Lee Ermey's Sheriff Hoyt. One of the most badass... either one of the most badass people in horror films or one of the most vile characters in a horror film. He's fucking horrible. He doesn't get... you know what I'd love to see? Mick Taylor versus Sheriff Hoyt. I would be fucking just... Bring it on. Bring it on. Just fucking bring it on. We'll get to Wolf Creek in a minute. Bring it on. Just fucking bring it on. Yeah. That would be great to see. Because they're both... I mean, Mick Taylor, he's vicious. But Sheriff Hoyt is... I know, it's hard to explain. But I'm going off track. Yeah, the remake, directed by Marcus Nispel. The beginning and the remake were done by Michael Bay, surprisingly. And so was the Friday the 13th remake. And that was directed by Marcus Nispel. And I think Michael Bay did have something to do with that film. So... that's it for the Texas Chainsaw films. I highly recommend those ones. Let's move on to the next horror film. Alright, again, I'm not going to bother jump cutting, so I'm going to say... Fuck it. The George A. Romero zombie films. My favourite zombie films of all time. When someone says to you, pick a favourite zombie film... I usually say Dawn of the Dead. Not Dawn of the Dead, sorry. Day of the Dead. But recently, I've been saying the George A. Romero trilogy. Trilogy of the Dead. They're amazing. Because you've got one from 1968, 78, and then one from 85. They're just amazing. The first one was shot in Pennsylvania. It was black and white. It was Pittsburgh. It was eerie, it was dark, it invented the modern zombie. And I love the fact that if a zombie got shot, you could clearly see it because he was wearing a white shirt and the film was black and white and yada yada. But yeah, iconic scene. And then you've got Bill Heinzman, who was the lead zombie, who actually went on to create his own little zombie film called Flesh Eater. It's not on the list, but it deserves an honourable mention because it's worth checking out. It is worth checking out. I love it because it's low budget. I love low budget zombie films. I love low budget films. Any film. Evil Dead, for example, that's one of the greats. In fact, it's my favourite. But off track. Yeah. And then we've got Dawn of the Dead. Dawn of the Dead took it to a whole new level where you've got these people, they're stuck in a mall, and their environment is basically a free roam. I mean, you can do whatever you want. But then it goes to Day of the Dead. And Day of the Dead is considered the bastard child of the trilogy because Day of the Dead is like the most depressing one, mainly because of Captain Rhodes. Really is a bastard. Fuck it, Mick Taylor, Sheriff Hoyt versus Captain Rhodes. Let's see those. Yeah, But Day of the Dead, I'm really sorry guys, I'm going off track. Day of the Dead is like probably my all-time favourite zombie film. And we've got Bub as well. Bub, who's an iconic zombie, who shoots a gun and listens to Beethoven. I think it's Beethoven, or is it Mozart? It's one of those two. And then he talks. Hello, Aunt Alicia. But there we go. Dr. Frankenstein, or Dr. Logan. I love that character. Yeah, it's just a fantastic film, absolutely fantastic. So go check it out, it's amazing. Land of the Dead from 2005. It's pretty good. It's original because the zombies actually use weapons. And it shows that the zombies, it kind of continues from Day of the Dead. Because Bub was a zombie who could use a gun, whereas these zombies, they're using everything from a hatchet to a machete to a machine gun to everything. These zombies are unique. These zombies are smart. And if I had to die around either classic zombies or these, I'd choose the classics for good, for certain. Day of the Dead, Land of the Dead, definitely well worth checking out. It's by George Romero, so yeah. Not going to include Diary or Survival of the Dead because they were shit. Sorry George, but there we go. So, let's move on to the next zombie film. Zombie Flesh Eaters, otherwise known as Zombie 2. Zombie, that's Z-O-M-B-I. What can I say about this film? It is fucking incredible. Lucio Fulci worked so fucking brilliantly on this film. The makeup, I actually think this is the best zombie makeup I've ever seen in a film. Because the zombies look scary. They do. Especially the scene where all the main characters are trapped in that little, I don't know if it's a barn, it's like a hut, and you can see all the zombies, they're all and they're only wearing like robes, that's all they're wearing, and they're trying to get in, and then once they get in, and then the main characters start throwing Molotov cocktails, shooting them with a shotgun, and it's really graphic. You can see like all the zombies getting it good. Again, it's fucked up. And then of course you've got the iconic zombie versus shark scene. It's just this, I could say so many good things about this film. In fact, I've done a review on it, and it is just, it's incredible. It's incredible. So go check it out if you haven't seen it already. It's a classic. Okay then guys, that's where I'm going to leave it for now. I apologise if I went off track in this video. I think I did. Or repeated myself, but there we go. I often do that if I'm tired. But yeah, I've got tons more to cover. I've only covered half of them in this video because it's best, and there probably will be a part 5 to this. If not, we'll leave it at part 4. We'll see how it goes. But thanks for watching guys, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.